So definitely going to be a key person in this pitching staff for the Cardinal.
But as you can see, very little work so far this season. Just 6 appearances, just a little over 10 innings pitched. As we look at the defense lining up behind her, Schultz, Gindelsberger, Cowles lining the outfield. Inoue, Young, Huff, Sparakis, Montana Dixon in the infield and in the circle. It is the sophomore Tatum Boyd. But when we spoke to both coaches earlier this week, that was one of the things that Coach Jessica Allister mentioned to us. You know, last week, maybe throwing our ace against Rachel Garcia in week 1. Somebody who's going to be pitching for Team USA in Tokyo, and maybe somebody who's going to be pitching for Team Australia in Tokyo. Maybe I want to shake things up and just kind of, you know, not play our ace against theirs. I like the poker game, what's going on so far, the chess match underway here on the farm.
Always a chess match. Never playing checkers in Pac-12 softball.
No doubt about that. Well, here we go. So happy to have all of you with us. Jenna Becerra and Kate Scott with you down here on the farm. Have not seen enough of our great Pac-12 softballers this season. So here we go. None other than the graduate student, number 22, Sis Bates, to lead us off. Boyd's first pitch, a low one outside for ball 1. Boyd looking over to the dugouts, then down to the wristbands. Trying to catch the outside corner for that one. Good frame job by Montana Dixon, but not getting the call that time from Jim Bertuzzi, our home plate umpire this afternoon.
It's one thing to go up against one of the best teams in the country, but then you also have to go up right away, first batter, top of the order, against one of the best hitters and players in the country as well, in Sis Bates.
That one catches the outside corner, strike 1. Sis, one of 10 finalists for the USA Softball Collegiate Player of the Year. Along with her starting pitcher today, Gabby Plain, the 2-1. Well, you can see they're keeping everything outside right now. Don't want to give Sis anything that she can turn on.
It's tough, too, with some speed, too. Sis Bates got 18 stolen bases this season. You don't necessarily want her on first base, but you don't want to give her anything too good either. It's this balancing act.
So here's the 3-1 from Boyd. And that one bounced in, so one batter, one base runner. Sis Bates over at first as we introduce all of our umpires. As we mentioned, Jim Bertuzzi calling the balls and strikes today. Brandon Bloom down at first. Fred Barker at second. And Jerry McGuire over at third. A little bit of a change this year. Maybe this is folks' first Pac-12 series of the season. 4 umpires this year. I don't know if you players like that, don't like it. Probably more on the calls, right?
In theory, yes, right? So the more eyes, the better, I'd say.
And they've done a darn good job all season. So in steps the junior Bailey Klingler, comes up swinging, fouls that one back to the screen, strike 1. Klingler, the Houston, Texas native, started her career down at Texas A&M. She started every game for the Aggies in 2019 and reached renamed to the SEC All-Freshman Squad and headed up to Montlake. The 0-1, grounded down the third base line. They're going to say that was a foul ball. So as opposed to getting behind on Sis Bates, it's much better from Boyd getting ahead on Klingler.
It is, and you want to. I mean, a ton of power with Klingler. She's leading the team in home runs with 16 already on the year. Saw her hit some in BP that just missed the locker room out there past center field earlier today. So you definitely want to be careful, but jumping ahead's always good.
So Bates, the speedy Bates, over at first. Klingler in the box. Here's the 0-2 from Boyd. Smacks that one to second. Oh, what a play by Huff. And what a double play turn by the Stanford defense. Huff to Young to Sparakis. I better see that on SportsCenter tonight. Oh my goodness, what a play.
She'll huff, she'll puff, she'll mow you down. I mean, this is the kind of defense, the no hands, unbelievable. That's what Huff has been able to provide for this Stanford team, and it is so key, especially in Pac-12 play.
And when you're a pitcher getting your first starts, I mean, Jenna, how good does that? We saw this last week at UCLA. The score sheet didn't show it, but Stanford played great defense against the Bruins.
It's key. You need all 3 parts of this game. You need pitching, you need solid defense, and you need timely hitting. And when you have that defense behind you, your pitcher's automatically more confident. It helps them perform better just inherently.
So just like that, the base is clear, and that's got a calm Tatum Boyd down just a little bit. And here's the 6th-year player, Morgan Flores, catching today for the Huskies. Boyd quickly ahead.
Done a great job of breaking into this lineup. Coach Alistair said it. She's just made it to where you can't not have her in this lineup. She's just a freshman, a true freshman, and in that number 4 cleanup spot.
In the circle for the Washington Huskies. We talked about her in the open because how could you not? The question is, where do you stop talking about her, Jenna? The 4-time Pac-12 Pitcher of the Week just this year. She is, along with Sis Bates, the top 10 USA Softball Collegiate Player of the Year finalist, and Tegan Coles to lead us off for the Stanford Cardinal.
She started off with a bang, too, this season. Perfect game in the season opener. Only the second Husky to ever do that since Danielle Laurie. I mean, start to finish so far at this point for Gabby Plain.
Anytime you're mentioned alongside Danielle Laurie, which I know Gabby is a lot, that's always a good thing. Tegan bounces this one back to Plain. Gotta hurry, and she does. One quick out for Gabby Plain and the Washington Huskies as we take a look at the defense lining up behind Plain this afternoon. Reynolds, Alchin, and Willis in the outfield. And then from left to right in the infield. Again, Klingler not at second today, getting the start at third. Silent Reen Espinoza will come off the bench. Sis Bates, Tara Natalie, Kelly Lynch, Morgan Flores in the squats, and Gabby Plain in the circle. Here is the Stanford player we talked about in the open, Taylor Gindelsberger, the junior from Chandler, Arizona. He catches the outside corner, strike 1.
She's just got a special story, too. Coming in her freshman season, hitting 167. Leads the team in batting average last year, leading the team in batting average again this year. 8 triples, double-digit steals. Just so productive for Stanford.
Fouls that one back to the screen, strike 2. Yeah, when you see those numbers, Jenna, they do kind of open your eyes. What did you see from her? Because I know you've been paying attention through her whole career.
It's very mental, and when I had a chance to talk to her in an interview, she said that it's really been about the mental adjustments. Yes, you think about certain physical adjustments when you're in there, but it's really about reminding yourself, I'm a great hitter. Let me just keep it simple and square something up in this at-bat, one at-bat at a time.
Here's the 0-2 from Gabby Plain. And this is high and inside, ball 1. And that is the Gabby Plain we know. Smiling out there, having a great time in the circle. Even when she misses, even when something's a little off, as long as she keeps that smile on her face, I know you're in trouble. Here's the 1-2. Sends that one into left, but right into the glove of Sammy Reynolds. 2 down.
Well, it's easy for Plain to smile when you have the performance that she's had so far this season.
Very good points.
Now batting for the Cardinal, number 24, Lenny Spear-Rack.
Pretty good intro from our PA announcer here at Gordon Jill Smith Family Stadium. Eleni Spirakis, the grad transfer, played the first 4 years of her career at nearby Santa Clara in the WCC, and she has been a fantastic addition to the Stanford squad. She gets her master's now here on the farm. Strike 1 from Plain.
Yeah, aeronautics and astronautics. Casual
That you majored in, Jenna?
Oh, yeah, sure. Communication, aeronautics, astronautics, yeah, same thing.
I don't even know if I could spell either of those words. Foul back and out of play, so Plain quickly ahead in the count, 0-2.
Emily Young is also studying. That's her major as well.
Well, it does make sense. I mean, for folks who aren't from the Bay Area, we have a lot of space stuff going on here in the Bay Area, just down the road in Mountain View. Here's the 0-2 to Spirakis. Swing and a miss. And Plain gets her first strikeout of the afternoon. So to the second inning we go here at Stanford. Welcome back. Let's take a look at our State Farm Showcase, because the great Cardinal defense in the first inning, Jenna, we got to showcase that again.
I mean, they're just showing off at this point. Sydney Huff with the no hands, then right after that you got Emily Young with the bare hand. Come on.
Here's the Young bare hands. I got it. No worries, Tatum Boyd. So we'll welcome you to the second inning here on the farm. I'm sure a lot of folks were expecting to see Gabby playing against Elena Vaughter for Stanford. But a little bit of a chess match going on between Jessica Allister and Heather Tarr. So instead, Tatum Boyd, the sophomore from Plano, Texas, in there with strike one of this at-bat, getting her first start of the season.
And her and Elena Vaughter were such a great 1-2 punch last season in their start. And then you bring in Reagan Krause into the equation this year. It's just a great combination. If they can have these three pitchers, they're so young. For the next couple years, few years, they're going to be in really good shape in the circle.
Especially when you're taking on batters like this. Sammy Reynolds, the junior out of Snohomish, Washington, two-time Pac-12 Player of the Week already this season. Swings and misses with that one. 2-2. Well, I would think, Jenna, that the way the defense played in the first had to give Boyd a whole lot of calm coming out to the circle here in the second. Just off the mark with that one as the count goes full.
Absolutely. Anytime as a pitcher that you feel that confidence from everybody behind you, but also that reassurance, you're just going to be in a better place. If you feel good, you play good, you win.
Here's the 3-2 from Boyd. I like what she was doing with that one. Didn't want to give her something to hit, trying to get that outside corner, just misses. So Reynolds will take her base.
And that off speed going to be important. Just misses, but not a bad pitch overall. If Boyd can keep mixing that in for the at-bats against this potent Husky lineup for the rest of this game, it'll be a good way to at least try to help keep them off balance.
Sammy Reynolds, 11 home runs on the season and 7 stolen bases. So keep an eye on number 10 down there at first. Number 31 stepping into the box now. The DP for Washington this afternoon, the senior, Noelle He. First one misses inside. He talked about Gindelsberger making huge strides over her career so far. He just having a career season after she was the starting DP for a while and then lost the spot to Emma Helm in the middle of her sophomore season. Kind of was coming off the bench as a pinch hitter. But man, right back to it, having a career season this year.
She is. She had a great outing against ASU as well. Hit a home run, went 3 for 3, hit a home run again in a later game. To be able to do that in Pac-12 play really says something too. It's a lot tougher than those preseason games.
Ahead in the count this time, 2-0. Has already tied her career high this season with 3 doubles and 7 home runs. Got Sammy Reynolds, the speedster, over first. And Reynolds is going as that one is fouled back into the screen for strike one.
It's a couple times now we've seen the runner going. Just happened to be a foul ball, so we haven't ultimately seen that stolen base attempt. But Montana Dixon is great behind the plate. She has such a quick release. She can throw from her knees, really accurate with her throws. To see her go head-to-head with this Washington speed is going to be interesting.
Get a good look at Dixon there, looking over to the dugout for the call. Reynolds fakes running that time. As that one misses, the count goes to 3-1. Again, Boyd 7-0, team best .85 ERA in 14 appearances last season in the shortened season that didn't get to the Pac-12 conference. Goes off speed like that one. The count goes full.
That's the pitch. That's the pitch right there. If she can just get more consistent control and feel confident to throw that at any time in these counts, she's going to be in good shape.
So Reynolds will be going. 3-2 to the senior He. And that one misses, so back-to-back walks, a couple of runners on, no outs here in the second as a big hitter, the sophomore Kelly Lynch, steps in.
And those freebies can come back to bite you, especially in this conference. It's just, they're too good. These hitters are too good to give anything away, so not surprised to see Coach Tori Nyberg kind of taking a minute with Boyd, just get her to take a breath. It is her first start, like we've said. She might just need a minute. Dixon's also just a fantastic leader, one of the super seniors on the team, so she's always right in there with these conversations too.
I'm sure most of you know, but for those who don't, Tori Nyberg, like the head coach Jessica Allister, a Stanford alum, part of the 02 class. Done a lot of coaching. Dominican, Cal State, Monterey Bay here in the Bay Area, then out to Northwestern. She helped to the Women's College World Series, a couple of Big Ten titles, and then Allister got the head coaching job here 4 years ago and said, hey, Tori, it's time to come home, right?
I'm coming home, so you're coming home with me.
Let's do this together. Let's put our program back on the map, and they're doing darn good. Just behind the Oregon Ducks, just a couple of games behind the Ducks right now in the Pac-12 standings. So Reynolds down at second. Noelle He over at first. This is the sophomore out of Noonan, Georgia, the DP today for the Dogs, Kelly Lynch. Lynch, our reigning Pac-12 freshman of the week. Even though she's a sophomore again, all the freshmen who were technically freshmen last year are still counting for the freshman awards this year. That one just called foul. But again, you see the smarts of Dixon, so quick out of the squat to tag Lynch just in case that wasn't called foul.
I mean, anything she could possibly get, she's going to go for it. She always lays that tag down. She'll look everybody back when they're on base. She'll ask the umpire, hey, did they go? For any slight movement that she sees from the hitters. She's just always working for her pitchers.
The 1-1 from Boyd. Showing bunts. That one is fair. And a great sacrifice that time by Lynch. No chance there to make a play at third or second. So Reynolds now is down at third. He at second, just one out, as Taryn Atlee will step to the plate.
I like this call from Coach Tarr. I mean, smart. You got to manufacture runs to get on the board. Dixon obviously jumped all over it, but the job was done. Now they have 2 runners in scoring position. With less than 2 outs, it's a big opportunity for Washington.
And the fifth year, who hasn't seen as many starts as she has in the past this season. Taryn Atlee will get her shot. That one catches the outside corner, strike one. Grew up not too far away from here, just off Interstate 80 in Sacramento. Foothill High School, started her career way over on the other side of the country at Rutgers, and then decided, it's a little too far. Let's come back to the West Coast. Let's head up to Seattle. 0-1 to Atlee, misses wide, ball one.
She's just one of the most experienced players on this Washington team. When we talked to Coach Heather Tarr, she said it too. She's a proven postseason hitter as well. So her getting the start in this situation, they're taking things one game at a time, but you have to have one eye slightly on postseason that's coming up. Just next weekend is already regionals.
Corner infielders sneaking in for the card as they try to prevent the run. Atlee found that one up and over our head, strike two. The head coach, Heather Tarr, 16th season now, coaching up the alma mater. Good looking swing though from Atlee, just missed that one.
Yeah, just a touch late with the timing. You can see, nice stride, smooth swing, keeps the barrel through the zone as long as possible.
Mostly a pinch hitter this year, again with Bailey Klingler getting most of the starts at second. But as the season winds down, expecting to see a lot more of Atlee. That one misses low. Ball two.
And this is an opportunity for her right now. Runners in scoring position, opportunity to have that timely hit. We talk about timely hitting all the time. This is one of those opportunities, and if she can do that, maybe she will be in this lineup a little more consistently the rest of the year.
Reynolds at third, he at second. That one down the left field line, but foul.
Shows bunt, pulls back, waits, but just a touch too long.
Yeah, good adjustment, though. You saw the bat hesitate.
Yes.
Impressive adjustment as the pitch was coming towards her. So 2-2. And Atlee gets that one in play, into left. That should be enough to score Sammy Reynolds, and it is. Our first run of the afternoon. And again, a good bit of just good softball. Bunt the runners over, and then use the sacrifice to bring them in.
I like to see fundamental softball executed. It is so great to see. And you'll see it's just deep enough, and that's all you got to do in that situation. That's what's called an intelligent out. Yes, Atlee ultimately recorded out number 2 in this inning, but it was an intelligent and productive out by bringing that run in.
So Atlee passes the bat. Huskies have a 1-0 lead as the freshman Sarah Willis steps in. Noelle He still down at second base after getting on courtesy of a walk. Willis has been very quietly productive for the Huskies, as we were talking about with Coach Tarr. You know, she may not have the 11 home runs like Reynolds, may not have the huge swing of a Morgan Flores, but she's just down at the bottom of the lineup, making waves each and every at bat.
That's right, making statements when you're getting the opportunity. Super competitive.
The off-speed working again that time for Boyd, strike 2.
And that off-speed pitch is something that we're going to see from all the Stanford pitchers most likely this weekend. That is something that they've worked in more and more in their repertoire as a staff. And kudos to Coach Tori Nyberg for calling that pitch. And you keep calling it until they prove that they can hit it. You keep doing it.
A lot of cardinal and whites in the stands, but some purple and gold as well. The Husky friends and family did a nice job traveling or making it out to the yard for those who live here in the Bay Area. So the Huskies able to get playing, 1 run in the top of the second. Let's see if Stanford can punch back as the freshman Ali Kanashiro steps in. Ali, the Pac-12 Freshman of the Week, back on the 12th of April. That one in there for strike 1.
And she's a true freshman as opposed to, you know, sort of the COVID freshman, I guess we can call them. When you look at like Tatum Boyd, Elena Vodder, for example, didn't get on campus till February 4th and actually be with her team. You don't get that fall ball season. You don't get the time to acclimate to college. Really impressive what she's been able to do.
Bounces that one over the head of Klingler. It's going to be a hard play for Sis Bates. And Kanashiro able to beat it out to the lead runner on this inning for Stanford.
That's that speed. They have it throughout the lineup. If they can utilize it in situations like that to scrape out those scrappy base hits, that's tough. You're so deep in the hole. Even a perfect throw might have been close there. It's a great hustle by Kanashiro.
Pounding down the line and getting in there. Anytime you see the ball hit anywhere near Sis Bates, right, you just run as fast as you can.
Well, we have a very high bar set for her as well, to be fair. There we're like, oh, she might have a play here. Most people, it's not even close, right?
Very good points. Number 2, the junior Emily Young, now batting for Stanford. Bunts that one down the first base line. We saw a beautiful sacrifice from Washington. Right back at you from number 2. That was gorgeous.
She's versatile from the right side. We talked about that with Taylor Gindelsberger from the left side, but that was a drag bunt from the right. She's got a ton of speed too. She's gotten base hits out of those in the past. And hey, if you don't get it, if you are thrown out, then it's still a perfect sacrifice, to your point. So either way, it's going to be productive if you can lay that down.
So one pitch, and just like that, the Cardinal have a runner in scoring position. And as you just heard from the public address announcer, understandably, Jessica Allister going for it right off the bat. So it was Kanashiro at second. She said, no, I'm bringing in the wheels. The junior Hannah Madison pinch runs a lot for the Cardinals. So Hannah now down at second. Emily Schultz at bat. Schultz bounces that one over playing. This is going to be a tough play as well, and not going to get there. Smart play by the Dogs as you saw Madison turn the corner a little bit, but quickly got back. And just like that, runners on the corners, just 1 out for Stanford here in the second.
You see great base running, no hesitation by Madison to go to third, but heads up defense. We talked about the experience of Taryn Atlee. This is that in play right here. Being heads up, knowing the situation, being prepared before every pitch. That's good execution.
Well done by Madison not to get too greedy there and take a big little turn, right?
The worst place you can get thrown out in any way is third base.
Instead, runners on the corners. Just 1 out. Sydney Huff, the sophomore, fouls that one back into the screen, strike 1. Already made that sensational glove double play in the top of the first, so she's got a defensive web gem already.
And she's known for that. She is just so solid defensively, but she's also a capable hitter, and she's been showing that even more this season.
Madison at third, Schultz over at first. Fouls that one up and out of play. Strike two. Tough weekend for the entire Stanford team in the 4 games last week down against Garcia, Faremo, and UCLA. But one of the few hits they did get off of Rachel Garcia came off the bat of #1 Sydney Huff. So no fear in this COVID freshman. I like how you just called them. Sophomore, Sydney Huff. Here's the 0-2 from Plain. Down the third base line, foul.
See, and her timing's pretty good right now. You know, she's getting barrel on the ball. Yes, these are foul balls, but just to be able to have your timing off of someone like Plain, that's where it all starts. And just to throw the bat out there like that, you stay alive in this situation. Those are the kind of things that have shown that Sydney Huff is a more mature hitter from last year to this year.
And that was how her hit last weekend came against Rachel Garcia. Kind of a half swing, just using Garcia's velo to get it into the outfield. Here's the 0-2 from Plain. One just able to get a piece of it, fouled back to the screen. Schultz was on her horse down to second base, so she'll trot back to first. Kaipa High School alum. And the Aussie in the circle. Only one out for Plain. Runners on the corners. Here's the 0-2. And did she go? She did. So strikeout #2 for Gabby Plain, and it is a big one for that second out of the inning.
That's the thing about Gabby Plain. She stays cool, calm, collected. It looks so good even when it does tail outside of the zone. It's so tough to lay off her pitches with that kind of movement.
That is the perfect out from a pitching standpoint, right? When you got a couple of runners on, nobody move. The pinch runner, Hannah Madison, still at third. Emily Schultz down at first. Here's Christina Inoue. First pitch swinging. Is that one going to stay in play? It will, but just in between a couple of dogs.
That's sort of that no man's land there in foul territory. As a pitcher, you're always like, oh, can we get this out this way? But it's tough when you see all 3 players breaking towards it. First baseman, second baseman, right fielder. Another
as well, because that's right where the sun turns into the shade, which always messes you up just a little bit as a fielder, right? Especially when you're staring up into the sun.
That's right. And as it gets later and later and the sun goes down further, more and more shadows will be on the field, so you have to keep that into consideration.
Here's the 0-1 to the third baseman, Inoue. That one in there, strike 2.
Oof, those are the pitches. I don't know if you want to take those because you're not going to get too many from Gabby Plain.
But Plain 1 strike away from getting out of a little bit of a jam here in the second. The 0-2. That one low, good job by Inoue to lay off, and good job by Madison to get back. Talking a lot about Montana Dixon. Hey, let's not forget about Morgan Flores there too.
Absolutely. You gotta have your head on a swivel in these situations. If you can get that out at third base, that momentum's also on your side going into the dugout and getting ready to hit.
The 1-2. And this is low. 2-2.
But I think the thing about Madison, too, is she is the go-to pinch runner for Stanford, so she does have that experience in these types of situations.
And Emily Schultz smartly on that last pitch, making her way down to second base. So a couple of runners in scoring position for Christina Inoue. Here's the 2-2. And that one high. Did she go around? She did. So Plain able to strike out 2 batters in a row and strand a couple of card here in the second. Dogs have a 1-0 lead as we head to the third. tournament for the first time since 2013. And I sure do hope to see the card back in the NCAA tournament this season, because I don't think any team is going to want to face them as Tatum Boyd, again, a sophomore, in there, strike one.
And some of the early projections that you see from like D1 softball and others have them as a 3 seed in some of these regionals. That's a tough 3 seed to have to go up against for anybody.
Sophomore Jalen Alchin swings and misses at strike 2. I think it's really easy to look at the Cardinals' record this year, Jen, and say, 28 and 18. Okay, not that impressive. Well, they were 22-4 coming into these 4-game, not 3-game series, 4-game series against Arizona and Arizona State and UCLA and Washington, as that one's fouled back to the screen as Alchin stays alive. 12 of their conference losses have come against top 12 teams in the country. So I will probably say that multiple times this weekend, because when I looked at that, it just blew me away.
Yes, more than half of this Pac-12 conference is going to host a regional, most likely.
Yep.
Like, that is how talented they are.
Here's the 0-2 to Alchin, goes off speed, just missed. Like the idea, though, that's been working for her so far.
That's the pitch. Just pulls the string so beautifully, just a little bit wide, but...
Ooh. Good frame job by Dixon. That one did, though, look wide. For the 1-2 to Alchin. That one missed well wide, 2-2. Jadlyn, our Pac-12 freshman of the week, back at the start of April. But has dealt with a lot this season, as Coach Tart told us. Had a death in the family that took her away for a little while, then was under concussion protocol for a little while. So it sounds weird to say she's still trying to find her rhythm in the middle of March, but that is indeed the case for Alchin. 2-2, and the count goes full. So nice job by Alchin to work her way back into this at-bats.
Well, and really, because of how difficult COVID made things in terms of fall seasons and preseason and things that all these teams are used to doing to prepare, some of the growing pains that you normally see in March are happening in May. It's just a different year in that regard.
The 3-2. Alchin rips that one into right field. It's going to have to hurry, because that ball got out to Tegan Cow so fast, but she's in there with a base hit.
And that's it. We said it. Boyd got to keep throwing that off speed until they prove that they can hit it. But Alchin did just that. Waits on it beautifully. Attacks, throws the hands great. Squares it up. Just a textbook piece of hitting.
So for the third consecutive season, inning, that is, the lead runner on for the Washington Huskies as we head back to the top of the lineup. Series California native Sis Bates. That one misses outside, ball 1. Bates walked in her first at bat. Looking for the 309th hit of her Washington career. Feels like a lot, Jenna.
That's because it is.
Okay. Wasn't just me. I thought I'd throw that to the softballer.
Yes, I mean, that is unbelievable, especially, again, we keep talking about how strong the play is in Pac-12 because it's true. To be able to do that when a good chunk of your season every single year is against the top pitchers and players in the country is just incredibly impressive.
Great graphic there, seeing she's not too far away from Charters and Pickering. And Heather Tarr could not say enough about those two when we talked to her in regards to Sis Bates and what she's doing just a couple of days ago.
Yeah, she played with Pickering. She coached Ashley Charters.
That one fouled away, and it's been a great week for Sis Bates already because she was one of 12 players drafted by Athletes Unlimited back on Monday, right?
Amazing, and they left it to the very end just to build up that suspense. She was the 12th name called out of 12, but to have her former or current, I guess, Washington family member, because you're all family basically for life at this point, Victoria Hayward announced it was just extra special.
That one misses outside, so the count goes full. And that was the tweet from her coach because we asked, were you gathered inside? And Heather said, no, we were actually practicing. And we kept peeking inside to see if Sis's name had been called. And then we'd sneak back outside and say, maybe we shouldn't be watching. We're trying not to jinx it. And then Sis, the final selection, and she smacks that one past Inoue and into left field. So a couple of runners on for Washington here in the third.
see the lefties. One turns on the off speed, the other one goes with it. And this is just a great job of not over swinging too. Hitting the ball where it's pitched. It's on the outer half. Throw the barrel where it needs to be. Nice, concise swing. Just well done.
Moving on up the charts, 309 hits now and counting for Sis Bates. So we'll have another Tori Nyberg conversation for Stanford, so Sis will trot over and have a conversation of her own. So while we have this pause in play, let's take a look at the rest of the players. Again, only 12 players selected, and for folks who missed it last year, you gotta watch. This is a super fun new professional league. Athletes Unlimited, a lot of the players we saw in the NPF now playing for this. And oh yeah, 5 of the 12, shocker, right Jenna, come from the Pac-12 conference.
5 of the 12, obviously Sis Bates, obviously Rachel Garcia. I think we know that, but 3 from Arizona alone as well.
And 2 of the other 7 players selected used to play in the Pac-12 conference, Shannon Rose and G. Juarez. So I'd like to claim those as Pac-12. So 7 of the 12 have some Pac-12 ties of some kind. And then a number of the players doing the picking, Gwen Savekis and Jazz Jackson, right? Oregon and Cal, and then Victoria Hayward, who you mentioned, announcing the pick. So there's Pac-12 all over the place, and just love to see it.
Yeah, they're all members of the player executive committee too, so they have been leading this league and all the decisions that are being made. It's very player driven, very impressive.
And it will be coming to a television or tablet near you very soon. That one down the right field line, but just gonna swing foul. Bailey Klingler, whew, that would have been trouble if it fell fair. And I think with that one swing, you can see why Taryn Atley, an incredible defender, but has been really pushed to the bench because of number 8, Bailey Klingler.
Yeah, we see Klingler at second base. We've seen Silent Rain at third base. It's just tough. There's so many people that you can have in these different situations. So many options. Coach Tar called it a logjam for playing time because there's just so much talent.
Alchin at second, Bates at first, Klingler to center field. And Gindelsberger is under that one. Alchin will tag and get in there. So runners on the corners. Just one out as Morgan Flores, the 6th-year graduate student for Washington, will step in.
Now batting for Washington, number 47, Morgan Flores.
Bates over there at first. Thought about taking second and then thought better of it. And it looks like we're gonna potentially have a change here. Coach Allister having a quick word with our home plate umpire, Jim Bertuzzi, and then going back to talk to our first base umpire. Just checking, make sure all the bases were tagged.
I think so. I think that might even be the rule book in her hand. I can't quite see from here, but she's known for that. She knows the rules inside and out. She will literally reference them to the umpires to make sure that the correct call is made. She did it against Oregon State in that series. She did it against Oregon up at the Jane. She's all over it.
So one out. Again, runners on the corners. The exact same situation that Gabby Plain had to work her way out of in the bottom of the second now here, top of the third for Tatum Boyd. Bates going, and nobody covering, and Dixon will smartly just hold on to that one. So now a couple of runners in scoring position and a lot of speed on the bases. Alchin down at third, Bates at second for Morgan Flores.
That's the thing with that kind of speed. Any base hit likely means 2 runs unless you have an absolute laser from these outfielders.
Flores into center field, and that's going to score at least 1, and it's going to easily score both of them. Got out there deep into the gap, got fences pretty far back here at Stanford, so just like that, Washington has a 3-1 lead on the 2-run base knock from Morgan Flores.
This is one of the strongest singles that you can have. I mean, does a great job at that low and outside pitch. Just up the middle, that's exactly what you're trying to do. Good job by Taylor Gindelsberger in cutting that ball off before it got all the way to the wall, and that's what kept her to just 1 base. But nevertheless, you still got those runs across.
As you mentioned, good work by Gindelsberger. I did not think there was a chance that she was going to get to that one. That's that speed we talked about back in the open. Getting to it. And keeping Flores over at first base. And who knows? It is little things like that that could make a big difference All of you who watch a lot of Pac-12 softball know that. So the count 1-0 to Sammy Reynolds. Reynolds fouls that one back into the screen. Strike one. Let's take a look at the RBI career list at Washington. Moving on up. We saw Bates moving on up the hit list, and Flores moving on up. Single digits now. Jamie Clark, we see you. We're coming for you. That's some pretty good company. Kristen Rivera, Michelle Church. Very impressive stuff for, again, the 6th year. Morgan Flores. This the junior, Sammy Reynolds. Starting left fielder for the Dogs. Boyd misses outside. Ball 3. First start of the season for Tatum Boyd. Plano West High School product down in Texas. This is her first Pac-12 campaign. Misses with the off speed, so runners on first and second now with the DP, Noelle He, coming to bat. And that's going to do it for Tatum Boyd. She's clapped her way into the dugout, and as we have a pitching change, we will step aside for just some trouble there. Who's that one on, Jenna? What happened there?
Well, you got to pick up the coach, but you also got to look in front of you in that situation. I think Sammy Reynolds just got too much speed.
Take one more look at this as he crushes this one into center. And yeah, Tar was sending Flores, but then she kind of held up, and
yeah,
Reynolds, no place to go.
That's when hesitation comes back to hurt you in that situation. You got to just make full speed decisions. Even if it's an aggressive mistake, you'd rather that than a hesitant one.
So let's see if Maddie Dwyer and the Card can use that to their advantage to get out of this inning with just a couple of runs scored. Well, that's not the way to do it, as Lynch will take a free base.
Yeah, those freebies.
It's what you were saying earlier, right? When you're facing one of the top teams in the country, make them earn every bit of it.
That's right. It's a cardinal sin, pun intended.
Look at you. You Stanford alums. Don't know what to do with you sometimes.
Well, when your mascot's a color, you kind of just have to steer into it.
And then you've got a dancing tree.
Right, and that's just confusing for a lot of people.
I mean, don't get this Cal alum started, Jenna. Don't get me started.
Yeah, maybe I'll disengage from this at this point.
So it's like we're going to have a pinch runner. Lily Sheely, the senior out of San Diego, now down at second for Noelle He. Kelly Lynch over at first. Morgan Flores at third. 2 down from Maddie Dwyer. Taryn Atlee at bat. Swings and misses, strike one.
We talked about Atlee getting the opportunity, getting a start today. She's in another situation. Last time she capitalized, got that sac fly RBI. Another situation for her here.
Let's see what she can do. The 0-1. Atlee into the air. And our left fielder, Emily Schultz, is there. So it could have been a lot worse for the Cardinals, but the Dogs played a pair. They have a 3-0 lead. Stanford coming up.
The next great flavor from Wendy's is here, the Bourbon Bacon Cheeseburger, with Wendy's signature Applewood smoked bacon smothered in our brand new Bourbon Bacon sauce. Because Wendy's goes all in on flavor, unlike other places.
Innovation is this team's secret sauce.
Isn't our secret sauce kind of like Thousand Islands?
Shh, they might be listening. Bill's right. Everyone, break your phone. Get him on the table.
I don't have an insurance plan for my phone.
It's no secret. When it comes to flavor, we got you with the new Bourbon Bacon Cheeseburger, only at Wendy's.
That one is drilled. Raiders home run of the season. Look at that catch. And out. What a finish. Looking towards now to make something happen. Rip in right center field. My goodness.
Pac-12
Pac-12 softball is brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And brought to you by Rawlings. Champions choose Rawlings. Hoover Tower here on the farm, as it is just, again, an absolutely beautiful Bay Area night here at Stanford. The Washington fans feeling pretty good so far. Their team with a 3-0 lead, but Stanford's got to feel pretty good too. I mean, they could have easily been down 6-7-0 if they wouldn't have stepped up and closed out that inning.
Yeah, and there's still a lot of game left here, and Stanford is a capable offensive team. They've shown that they can put the bat on the ball a little bit here against Plains, so it's a matter of finding the holes and stringing something together to get on the board.
Morgan Flores, the catcher for the Huskies, with that big 2 RBI base knock to deep right center field. And now it's the catcher for the Cardinal leading off. Out of Lakewood, California, the grad student, Montana Dixon. And this is low, ball 1. What a journey it has really been, Jenna, for both catchers. We'll get into Morgan's later in the broadcast, but Montana Dixon, just an incredible start to her sophomore season. I'm sure most folks watching know, but then missed all of Pac-12 play after hurting herself in the Utah series, right? And that was so tough because she was on such a run.
She was, and she just has gotten better every year. I mean, her defensive presence behind the plate is second to none. There's a reason that she led the Pac-12 last year in the shortened season in caught stealing. Like, she is just all over it. But then offensively, too, a little bit slower of a year for her so far, but very clutch when she does produce.
In the counts. Here's the 2-0. One in there, strike 1. And I think one of the things that's important to point out, because a lot of the averages, not just Montana Dixon, you look at their batting averages in the Pac-12 and they're down this year. That's because the non-con was so short for the Pac-12 teams this year. And they're not just playing 3 against Gabby Plain and Garcia and Ferramo. They're playing 4 games, so just going to continue to point these things out to the rest of the country who's watching this weekend.
1,000%. 32 games against people who also play in the best conference in the country. It is to have the Pac-12 coaches agree and decide on, yeah, you know what, we will step up to the plate and have that extra game and not shy away from it or be afraid of it, is a testament to them as well.
I mean, definitely gets you ready for postseason play, but gonna impact other things like batting averages, I think RPI at some point. So Dixon just able to stay alive, fouls that one off. Well, again, 3 games, even though we're playing 4-game series this weekend, as Jenna mentioned, one of those considered a non-con game. So 3 games left to go in Pac-12 conference play. The Dogs with a chance to catch the Bruins. Again, the Bruins coming up next, down in Tucson, taking on the Arizona Wildcats. Don't get that. Take 3 from Oregon State. So they're trending in the right direction. Again, just a lot of good talent here in the Pac-12. Here's the 2-2 to Dixon. That one misses high, and the count goes full.
Well, and if you think about the fact that Stanford actually played Cal 3 times in non-conference settings, in the preseason a couple times, and they made up 1 game that was considered non-con in the midweek, and they took 2 of those 3. So if those would have been part of the conference play, right, we might see something a little bit different, a little more of a shakeup.
Could easily be at 10 wins on the season right now. Here's the 3-2 from Plain. And that one catches the outside corner. Strike 3. A great pitch from Gabby Plain.
Gabby Plain's just so good. The location of that pitch, that is a pitcher's pitch all the way. You got to protect when you have 2 strikes, but just absolutely perfect. Grazes that outside corner.
I mean, how do you protect against that, Jenna? That's like a perfect pitch.
That's one of those where you may just throw the bat out, hope you foul it,
Good
just
call.
to stay alive.
Chuck it towards your dugout, who knows. 4th strikeout on the day for Plain as Tegan Cal swings and misses strike 1.
I mean, Plain's movement is just, it really is second to none. And she honed that from an early age. When I had a chance to interview her on a podcast, she was saying that she actually competed against a lot of boys growing up. And she knew it might be a little tough to overpower them. So she really honed the movement of her pitches to get them out.
Cal bounces that one past Plain into center field for a base hit. Felt like it was only a matter of time. I mean, everybody struggled last weekend down at UCLA, but it's not typical to see Tegan Cowles not get many hits, so expected her to get going, and she does right there.
Well, and these are the kind of hits that Stanford's going to need. Just the base hits, keeping it simple, poking ground balls through the infield. That's how Stanford's going to get base runners and be able to move people around.
And that was hit number 250 in the great Stanford career of the grad student now out of Ridgefield, Washington, Tegan Cowles, working on her master's now in biology. Looking forward to hopefully being an ER doctor after attending medical school. But right now doing a little bit of everything for the Stanford Cardinals. They try to get their offense going here in the third. Taylor Gindelsberger now in the box for Jessica Allister. That one into the glove of Bailey Klingsberg. Pardon me, 2 down.
That's a good job by Gabby Plain in terms of getting the out. That was sort of off the end of the bat, not super, super solid. She got middle of the ball, but just let your defense work after giving up that hit. Nice snag by Klingler, too.
Yeah, doesn't see that much time down at third base. Usually it's second, but doing a good job so far. So Plain trying to strand another runner for the Cardinals. Stranded a couple in the second. Cowles down at first. Eleni Svarakis, grad transfer out of Santa Clara, trying to keep this inning going for the Card. Captain of the Broncos, who I believe might be playing in the College Cup Final Four right now. I have to look on my phone for an update of that during the next break. Here's the 0-1 from Plain. That one misses outside, ball 1.
Gabby's always got that smile. We talked about it. Whether good things are happening, she doesn't get a call she wants, like just now, she's always got that smile.
Never know what she's thinking, right? It's what you want as a pitcher. This is well high that time, ball 2.
I actually asked her about it because Sis Bates had described her at one of the World Series appearances that they've had as sassy, smiley, you know, and I asked her, like, is that true? Do you feel like that? She was like, I don't really think so. People always say that, but I'm not really thinking about that in my head. You know, I'm just relaxed. I guess I smile, but it's not something I'm trying to do.
Just natural. Here's the 2-1. Fouls that one back, strike 2. And just because I know you're being modest, what is the podcast maybe that we can listen to Gabby Plain? I believe you might be the host, right, Jenna Becerra?
I appreciate that. Yes, it's Believe in Softball with Believe Podcast Network, BLEAV.
Yeah, I needed the help on that, so
yes.
Thank you. It looks like Believe, but
exactly.
It's not, because you Stanford alums are smart or something. Here's the 2-2. Cowles down at first. 2 down here in the third. Svarakis skies that one to shallow center. And a nice little positioning there for Cowles to know right where that one was coming.
Either way, they look like geniuses. But she's got so much speed that she can play a little bit closer to the line because she's got the speed, and Gindelsberger has the speed to cover that sort of right center gap.
Yeah, I saw a couple of great plays by Cowles and Gindelsberger down at UCLA last weekend in the outfield as Alchin fouls that one back to the screen, strike 1.
Yeah, Gindelsberger felt like she was all over the green last weekend at UCLA. That's what you like to see, confidence in the infield, but also your outfielders. They're the last line of defense.
Gindelsberger out there in center. Alchin back to Dwyer. And that should have been a second out, but I'm pretty sure she's going to be safe. Didn't see a call from the umpire, but the ball bobbled over at first, so Alchin has started the rally the last time around. Now at first with just 1 out.
Yeah, throw was a little bit low, but looks like it was just a situation where it was fundamental. Svarakis got to see that ball all the way into the glove. Because again, that's a version of a freebie as well, putting a runner on base.
So our first air of the afternoon. See if Bates and the Dogs can take advantage. Outside, ball 1.
So you go from 1 out with the runner on, back to the top of the order. It could have been 2 down in this situation.
Yep.
It does change the tide just a little bit.
One outside as well, ball 2. Dwyer, as you mentioned just a little while ago, Jenna, not seeing that much time this year because of the great youngsters who are now a part of this rotation, but she and Carolyn Lee a huge part of, as Jalen Alchin going down to second, and Dixon just late on the throw. That was a close play.
Ooh, it looked like the ball got there in time. Little high, though. It's all about the tag in that situation. But just well done. Look, on line from Dixon.
Woo, that was close.
Close one. Did she get the hand in? That's tough. Also a different situation when you have Huff coming from second base to cover. Some adjustments there.
Good points. That one in there, strike 1. Let's take another look. What do you think? Alchin safe or out? Yeah, I don't know if she got her.
I think she might have got the hand in. But that's a good slide, too, because you don't want to slide straight into the bag. She slides to the right, just sticks the hand in.
Bates bounces that one to short. It's going to be a tough play. Young makes it. She's been incredible so far today, but Alchin able to make her way to third. So 2 down, runner on third now for Bailey Klingler.
Emily Young, really known for her strong arm. Lots of plays that she's been able to make deep in that 5-6 hole, charging with a ton of speed. Her arm strength has been a difference maker for Stanford.
Saw Klingler rip a couple of balls foul in her last at bat. Rips this one right to the second baseman, Huff. And the defense
transmitting
kind of hidden back there in the dugout. Well, Morgan Flores getting the offense going. You got a 3-0 lead. How are your bats looking to you so far?
Decent, you know, hitting the ball hard, and some things are happening, and it's good.
Well, and then there's Gabby Plain, right? I mean, what a year, what a career, but what is she doing well right now against Stanford?
I think she's still trying to find the zone, and you know, Stanford's going to make contact and find a way to put the ball in play, so we just got to be able to play defense behind that.
Heather, thanks for the time.
Yeah, thanks you guys.
Heather Tarr, 97 grad, the University of Washington, now in her 16th season as head coach. Winningest coach in any sports in Washington history. Just a couple of wins away, both of our coaches a couple of wins away from milestone. Heather at 698, 2 away from 700. Jessica at 398, a couple away from 400. So keeping tabs on that this weekend. Ali Kaneshiro, the freshman, swings and misses at strike 1.
Both of these coaches, too, they're back at their alma maters. I mean, Heather Tarr has been there for years and been just an absolute pillar of the UW community. Coach Allister coming back home, too. There's a few other coaches in the Pac-12 that also, that's the case. It's such a special way to propel this conference forward.
And just misses ball 1. Amy Hogue at Utah, Kelly I, UCLA, Chelsea Spencer now over at Cal. And as you said, Jenna, I just think it's so cool. I don't think we have enough women coaching women. I think that matters to see what you can be after college in addition to an ER doctor or a broadcaster. Hey, you could be head coach of a D1 softball team too. This kind of show skies that one to second base. Atlee is under it, so 1 out. And then to see, again, the success that they're having too. There's just so many layers to it.
Well, and there's just this next level respect that the players have too, knowing that, hey, my coach walked in my shoes. She did this. She had success doing this. It's just another level of being able to relate to them as people as well as players.
And obviously that pride then runs deep as well. What you love. Just adds another layer to the passion. First pitch to Emily Young, who's having a heck of a day. So far at short, made a couple of Sports Center plays of the night already. See if she can get the bat going. Had a gorgeous sacrifice bunt down the first base line, back in the second. Ahead in the count, 2-0.
something I think Emily Young has done a great job of from earlier in her career to this year is really that gap-to-gap hitting. She's done a good job of keeping balls fair on that inside corner, keeping balls fair on that outside corner, getting those extra base hits, hard contact.
2-0. Catches the outside corner, strike one.
Her confidence, too, has gone up. I mean, she's always had a great presence on the field. Her swing reminds me of another number 2 that I played with, Maddie Kuhn, New Yorker, right-hander. Also didn't have the face mask, went old school with the batting helmet.
Here's the 2-1 to Young. And in there, strike 2. And Young, a different hitter, home and away this year as well. Hitting .388 here on the farm, just .218 on the road, so maybe some home cooking this weekend for her too. Base is empty, 1 out. Here's the 2-2 to Young. One popped up and out of play, heads up. Young, now a junior, out of Mason, Ohio, was a member of the Pac-12 All-Conference and All-Freshman team back in 2019. Started all 26 games that the Cardinals were able to get in before the season was canceled because of COVID. At shortstop in her sophomore campaign. Here's the 2-2 again. Fouls that one. Out of play down the left field line.
I had a chance to interview Emily Young for a Cardinal W event that was happening on campus. Also Elena Vaughter and Tatum Boyd as well. And one thing that she mentioned, I asked her, if you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be? And she said, cheeseburger soup. This is a family recipe, apparently.
I want to know more about that in just a second.
Yeah.
2-2. Misses high, the count goes full. Okay, as you were saying.
Yeah, so I asked her, what exactly is cheeseburger soup? Are we like blending a cheeseburger here? Like what's happening?
Because that works for me.
Right, like sure, I'll eat cheeseburger any day, anyway. But it's got meat in it. It's got all the ingredients you would put on a cheeseburger, on the veggies, tomato, stuff like that.
Young family, as soon as we're done with this broadcast, Jen and I will be on our way to Ohio as Young swings and misses at strike 3. 5 strikeouts and counting now for Gabby Plain.
At the plate for Stanford, number 13, Emily Schultz.
So her coach may say she's still trying to figure it out, but I'd say that Plain is looking A-okay so far. Has the shutout going. 2 down here in the 4th as Emily Schultz, the left fielder, will give it a go. And in there, strike 1.
I think figuring it out for Gabby Plain is still pretty high in terms of performance. Her scale is just not quite the same as everyone else's scale.
The 0-1. This is low ball 1. Plain with the potential to be one of 2 active collegiate pitchers pitching for a medal this summer back at the Tokyo Olympics. Rachel Garcia on Team USA. Schultz fouls that one up, stays in play, and Morgan Flores is there, and the inning is over. So Plain really finding a rhythm as this game goes on. All Washington so far.
You're
Allen. The Dogs missed her. Still a fantastic season for them, but Flores could have made them even better.
She was on the National Player of the Year watch list coming into this season. Nominee for the Seattle Sports Star of the Year. 3rd in home runs in UW history.
It's the 2018 season, which would have been her junior season. Flores right into the glove of Eleni Sparakis. 1 out.
At the plate for Washington, number 10, Sammy Reynolds.
That'll bring Sammy Reynolds to bat. Couple of walks for Sammy so far tonight. First pitch swinging that time, down the left field line, foul. Making sure that Lim's warmed up down there in left field, sprinting over towards the Washington bullpen as we get a little peek into the Stanford pen. Number 8, Molly Millar, the junior, warming up. Maddie Dwyer right now in the circle for the car. That one just misses ball 1.
We talked to Coach Tar, too, and asked her about Sammy Reynolds. She just said she's a special one. She can hit for power. She's just a little thing, I think 5'4". But she has 11 home runs on the season, 8 doubles.
And in there, strike 2.
Most of her hits are extra base hits. I just love to see that. I love to see hitters who do something that maybe you wouldn't expect just by looking at them as they enter the box.
Coach Starr said, what, if you saw her in line at Starbucks, you'd think, oh, okay.
Exactly.
That one right back to Dwyer. Well done by Maddie Dwyer, 2 down. But as you said, just rakes most of the time. Dwyer relieving Tatum Boyd, who got the start for Jessica Allister in Stanford today. And has done a good job settling in. A couple of ground balls induced here in the 5th.
Dwyer's at her best when she's mixing the corners really well. And then again, we talked about this earlier, but changing planes. But showing that rise ball, even if they're not chasing it, but just to show that difference so that you can't sit on anything belt high and grazing those corners. When she has a good mix, she's good.
Strike 1 to the DP. Single to center, her last at bat. Took a walk in her first. Grew up down in Southern California. Orange Lutheran alum. Played for the Bat Busters, the Corona Angels. Fouls that one down the first baseline, 0-2.
A lot of this Washington roster played for the Bat Busters and the Corona Angels.
Yeah, you noticed that as well, huh? Let's be honest, just a lot of Pac-12 players in general play for those 2 travel clubs.
Absolutely. Them, throw in Firecrackers as well. Those are some of the top travel ball teams in the country. Just so happened to be in Southern California, the hotbed.
Here's the 0-2 to Heed. Dwyer trying to get out of the inning. Good pitch, right up at her eyes. He doesn't chase, though.
I had to double check this, but Maddie Dwyer also attended Orange Lutheran High School.
That's what I thought. Okay, I'm glad you did that. And also played for the Bat Busters as well as the SoCal Athletics, another well-known club team. We've completed the circle, Jen.
Full circle.
Good job. Good teamwork there. 2 down in the 5th. Here's the 1-2 from Dwyer. He right back to Dwyer. And a great half inning by Maddie Dwyer. That was all about number 95. So great half inning by Maddie Dwyer. A great game so far by number 16 in the circle for Washington, Jenna, Gabby Plain.
And just a great, I said it to Coach Tar, but great year, great career. I mean, so good in the circle, Gabby Plain is. And there's a reason why she will likely be in Tokyo this summer, like you mentioned earlier, Kate, for Australia. She's been able to really fine-tune by not only competing at the highest college softball level here in the States, but also that international level has just taken her to a whole nother level.
31 shutouts in the career so far for the Aussie Gabby Plain. Just a couple of innings away from potentially number 32. And for those who maybe this is your first time seeing Plain this year, well, she's coming back next season. Sorry, not sorry, I believe is what Heather Tar and the Huskies will say to the rest of the Pac-12 conference in the country.
And they should. They should. If you can bring Gabby Plain back, why wouldn't you? There's nobody better that you could want in the circle to go for another national championship. They were so close in 2019 going up against UCLA, who ultimately won the championship, brought it back to the Pac-12.
Sydney Huff to left center. Alch in there, 1 out. Maybe it's just me, but I'd be okay with another all Pac-12 Women's College World Series. We saw it in basketball with Stanford and Arizona. I'd be okay with it for softball too.
That's right. I mean, we used to say when I played too that basically every weekend is like you're playing at the World Series. I mean, that's the level of play that the Pac-12 is. It's no surprise why so many Pac-12s meet again, just in another city, in OKC.
So Plain takes care of Huff. Here's Christina Inoue. And this is low. Ball 1. Christina struck out in her first at bats. Long-time starting third baseman for the Stanford Cardinal. We'll talk about Dwyer being a part of the turnaround. I don't think you can talk about the turnaround without number 20 over at the hot corner either.
Four super seniors on this team. Christina Inoue being one, Montana Dixon behind the plate. You got Tegan Cowles in right. You have Nikki Bauer in the bullpen. That's the class that Coach Allister said. They will be known as the leaders in that turnaround. They were here during the tough times. They're here during the better times where postseason is back in the conversation. We often refer to Christina Inoue here on the farm as just the ultimate hype woman too. She's always very vocal over there at third base, always hyping the pitchers up. They throw a strike, she's like, yes, like full energy. And it just helps you not only as a pitcher, but the rest of the infield have that energy too.
Here's Plain's 2-1 pitch. Now back to the screen, strike 2. Got her Stanford degree in computer science. Studied abroad in India back in the summer of 2017 through that great ACE program. That's a joint program with Stanford and Duke, right? Student athletes can't really go abroad except for a little 3-week period during the summer. So I love that. That helps Stanford and Duke student athletes do that. Inoue stays alive.
That's one of those things, you know, people often ask me, like, hey, what are you jealous of now that you guys didn't have back then that they have now? Outside of some of the amazing facility improvements and things like that, I would say things like the ACE program. That's amazing. Also being able to partner with another school that's on the other side of the country, just broaden your horizons.
The 2-2. That one away. Fun battle we got going on right now between a couple of Pac-12 veterans.
Always a solid playlist here in Boyd and Joel Smith Family Stadium as well. Got Tricky by Run DMC on the speaker.
We're playing a lot of the throwbacks, which are right in our wheelhouse, right, Jenna?
Love it.
I know the current student athletes consider them throwbacks.
Yeah, that's when I knew I was getting older, when they referred to songs that happened with Tatum Boyd. She's a huge Justin Bieber fan. And she mentioned one of his really old songs, and it was a song that came out when I was in college. And I told her, all right, let's pump the brakes.
Okay, Tatum. Be careful what you say here. You might get the start again in Washington, and I'm calling that game. 7 pitches and counting now in this battle between Inoue and Plain. Washington with a 3-0 lead. Here in the bottom of the 5th, looking for their 40th win of the season. Stanford looking for its 30th. 1 out, nobody on. Here's the 2-2. And she gets her. Plain wins the battle, strike 3.
Just take a look at this. Just drops off the table, looks good. Drops out of the zone, below the knees, but it's so close. With that movement, it's hard to lay off that pitch when you have 2 strikes. That's Gabby Plain for you.
Strikeout number 6 and counting. The superstar who didn't start pitching until 13, 14?
13 years old.
2 down for Montana Dixon. First pitch swing and assist. Bates stays down on it. One of the best defenders in the country. Great play there. So Washington, they are in control, but if we know anything about that UCLA-Arizona rivalry of sorts, as that one is ripped down the left field line, but fouled by Kelly Lynch. It's that anything can happen, right, Jenna?
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
The top 2 total number of national championships, right there, just in a casual Pac-12 conference
I mean,
series.
they just traded off for the first, what, like 15 years or something, it felt like, of that NCAA championship. And Dwyer really finding her rhythm the last couple of innings. Ahead in the count to Lynch, 0-2. And again, anything can happen with this Stanford team, too. Washington, I think, pretty much needs to win all 4 and then get some help from Arizona in a game or 2 down in the deserts. But Dwyer and the Card not going to make it easy. And fouled up and out of play. Heads up on the grass.
Well, and if you look at the offensive output in terms of hits, Stanford's right there just behind Washington. Washington's got 4 hits, Stanford has 3. The first run that came across happened without a hit because Taryn Atley got that sacrifice and brought the run in on the sac fly. So just efficiency from Washington so far in this game.
Yep, a couple of walks and then bunt and then a sac fly from Atley, as you mentioned, their first run. And then Morgan Flores with a 2-run single to a deep right center. And that's where we stand. But you're right, Stanford has had some base runners. Just hasn't been able to come up with that big hit yet. So Dwyer trying to keep it at just a 3-0 Washington lead here in our final couple of innings here on the farm. 1-2. Oh, rope down the third baseline, just foul. Whew.
That's why they call it the hot corner. Just tattoos this. Just foul.
That's why she is our reigning Pac-12 Freshman of the Week. Had hits and RBI in all 4 games of the Huskies' sweep last weekend in Utah. Extra base hits in 3 of the 4 games, including a 3-run shot. "13 home runs so far in Lynch's career. Originally committed to the Auburn Tigers. Then coaching change in 2017 as Lynch singles to center. And had been in touch with Heather Tarr and the Huskies because of Lily Egan, right? Another Georgia gal who is a part of this team, coming off the bench right now for Heather Tarr. But Egan had already been recruited here. Lynch and Egan were high school teammates, so hey, you want to go all the way across the country to Seattle? Georgia to Seattle? Yeah, let's do it together.
And that's tough to convince players to do that, to come from the South all the way out to the Pacific Northwest. It helps when you're Washington, right? And you have the history and the academics that they have. I know Coach Tarr mentioned, for example, with Gabby Plain, she was interested in psychology. There's a great program at Washington. There's a lot of factors in making that decision.
And speaking of Lily Egan, see, I love it when stuff like this happens, Jenna. It doesn't happen often when you're broadcasting, but now pinch running for her former high school teammate is Lily Egan.
So much synergy.
I love that. Freshman out of East Coweta High School. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. I watched a number of YouTube videos to try to get the pronunciation correct. Won a couple of state championships down there in Georgia. And had to ask Heather Tarr, kind of wear that one as a badge of pride, right? Going on the other side of the Mississippi and taking a couple of great ball players up to the Pacific Northwest. She smiled and laughed a little bit the other day. Yeah, there's a little something to that.
Of course.
So Egan over at first. Here's Taryn Atley, who we mentioned just a couple of minutes ago. Brought in the first run on a sacrifice fly. Back in the second inning. Getting the start here today, the 5th-year longtime starter at second base. That one is going to be fair. Good play from Montana Dixon to get Atley, but does her job, gets Egan into scoring position.
Yeah, quick as ever for Montana Dixon, but I love this execution by Atley. That ball was up in the zone. She still got on top of it, got the barrel where it needed to be at the right plane, lays it down, gets the job done. I mean, she's the queen of effective sacrifices so far in this game.
Yeah, sac fly, and now the sack bunch, and that is exactly why Coach Tar said that we were probably going to start seeing more of her as the season ramps towards the postseason, because Atlee is just so clutch as Willis takes a huge hack and misses at that one. I like it, though. Come on, Freshie. Come up swinging. I love it.
That's right.
Grounded out and flied out so far today. The true freshman again from another big Southern California powerhouse, Norco High School. Willis ropes that one down the left field line, and they're sending Egan the play at the plate, and she's in there. The play at second, she's in there as well. So great execution again by the Washington Huskies, who now have a 4-0 lead.
Talk about clutch. You have the big hack, you settle in, you just stroke it right through the middle of that ball. Solid hit to left. Got out there in a hurry too, but Heather Tarr, no hesitation, sending her. That was gonna have to be a perfect throw both ways, at home plate and at second base. Washington's pushing the envelope here. If that throws on line, you got a shot. You gotta make them make that play.
And again, Stanford not too far off for making either of those plays, but just perfect execution from the number 5 team in the country. So Sarah Willis now down at second after the RBI single. Jadelyn Alchin, sophomore, at bat. And these are the things that Heather talked about us with. Yes, there's a Pac-12 championship on the line. Yes, it's still regular season play, but this is where you start to ramp up and really want to get your team playing like it is the postseason. Kind of felt like a sequence you'd see in the postseason there as Alchin pops this one up down the left field line. And Young will be there for out number 2.
That's exactly right. You got to try what you think you're going to do in those situations. You got to do that now. You got to push the envelope, see what you can do. Get ready. You have to take things one pitch at a time, one game at a time, and Coach Tar even said, postseason's so far away from us right now. We got these 4 games that we got to focus on here. But you still have to push it.
So with 2 outs here sits Bates. And there's strike 1 from Maddie Dwyer. This with a walk and a single left so far this afternoon. One catches that outside corner, strike 2. So an out away again from limiting the damage. Tatum Boyd did a nice job of that as the starter, and Dwyer has done a nice job of that so far. She can get one more strike. Ball 1.
She looks like she wanted that, saw that one all the way in. A little anxious there.
I like it though, maybe the home plate umpire Jim Bertuzzi's questioning that, right? Be confident, start to stride towards your dugout. 4-0 Dogs. Willis on second, 2 down. Here's the 1-2.
It's a good job by Sis Bates coming back from that 0-2 count early. You can tell she's seeing that ball all the way in to Montana Dixon's glove.
Got her swinging. 1-2. It is really Plains' team this year. And then there's strike 1 to Tegan Kels.
She has established that, absolutely. And she talks about how much confidence she has in her defense as well. I mean, when you have the likes of Sis Bates, that's pretty easy to do at shortstop.
Right.
But just across the board, a lot of great defensive plays from this Husky roster.
That was one of the 3 hits off of Plains so far. And just bounced off the bat, unfortunately, for Tegan. 0-2.
Tegan is tough. Again, part of that class. The turnaround for Stanford.
Has done whatever Coach Allister is needed. The 0-2. Rockets that one down the left field line onto the roof. But foul. That one doesn't count, right? No extra points for that?
No extra points, but I wish it did. Oh, there it goes.
Oh. I feel like we're doing Price is Right. Go, go, go.
This reminds me of early pandemic marble racing for a second there. A little flashback.
Okay. I was thinking a little Plinko or something. But I like the marble idea. We'll go again. 0-2. Good eye by Cowles. Ball one. As you were saying, she was a natural catcher, right? But Montana Dixon wins that job. So, hey, Tegan, why don't you go play third? Why don't you play right field? What do you need from me, Coach? I got you.
She's been pretty much everywhere. Infield, outfield, battery.
And Plain gets her swinging that time. Strike three. Hits the ground, so they'll throw it down to first. But another K for our Rawlings player of the game, Gabby Plain.
Now batting for the Cardinals.
7 and counting now for Gabby Plain.
That's a big reason why this team is so good. You have Gabby who can actually get people out in the box, but you have that solid defense behind her as well, so it's just so hard to find the holes.
So can Gindelsberger get a rally started here in the 6th? Fouls that one off, strike one. Again, only 10 hits as a team last weekend down at UCLA, and Taylor had 3 of the 10. Broke up a no-hitter that Megan Framo had going. Had a double in another one of the contests. The 0-1. Shows bunt that time, and I'll say it is fair. So a great little surprise bunt that time by Gindelsberger, and no chance for Flores to get her at first.
That's that versatility we're talking about from Taylor Gindelsberger. She's put the ball in play twice earlier in this game. The last minute, perfectly placed right in front of the base, and Flores just touches it in fair territory. There's just no chance with the speed of Gindelsberger at that point.
I love it. I love it. You're having trouble hitting an ace? Let's bunt our way on base. So number 25 down at first. Gindelsberger, number 24, Eleni Spirakis. Stepping in. Oh, what a play. Oh, my goodness. Taryn Atlee doing work with her bats and with her glove today.
I mean, just beautiful. Oh.
Double play. Dogs coming up.
Hi, I'm Jessica Allister, the head softball coach at Stanford University, and you're watching Pac-12.
Junior Bailey Klingler. Who singles to center fields. Figured it was only a matter of time before Klingler got going. He's made a lot of good contact today. A lot of long, hard foul balls. Finally gets that one in play.
And that's what you want to see. You want to see the adjustments from at-bat to at-bat. So that's just a perfect example of that. It also helps sometimes when you have a fantastic defensive play to end a half inning. It's a little bit of momentum for your hitters when they come up to bat.
That'll do it for you. So we take one more look at Klingler's rip.
Yeah, sliced right through the middle of that ball.
Klingler at first. Morgan Flores at bats. No outs here in the 7th. Flores already with a 2-run single back in our 3rd inning that made it 3-0 Washington. And Gabby Plain has cruised since. As you mentioned, the defense helping. We'll show you a replay of that great Atlee double play in just a moment. Tatum Boyd started the game today for Stanford. Maddie Dwyer took over and has done a darn fine job in relief. Well, don't forget, more great softball coming up at the top of the hour. Number 2 UCLA down at number 8 Arizona. Hildebrand Stadium in Tucson. If we're still going, which I expect us to be in a couple of minutes, you can start on the Pac-12 Now app. It is free. You can watch it on your tablet, your phone. And then as soon as we wrap things up here on the farm, we'll send you live down to Tucson for game 1 of that 4-game set. Here's the 3-0 to Flores. And there's strike 1.
I was wondering if they were going to give her the green light on that one.
Looked like she kind of wanted it, didn't it?
A little bit. A little bit.
Looked like she got the red light because she walked back towards Heather Tarkon. Could have had that one, Coach. Here's the 3-1. Did have the green light that time, understandably. Fouls it back to the screen. Nice job by Dwyer to fight back here, full count.
That's the thing, when you see Morgan Flores, her swing, just a ton of bat speed. And that's why she just hits the ball so hard and why so many balls leave the yard as well. She's got that bat speed and just great hands.
Here's the 3-2. Goes off speed that time. Look out, Coach Tar. Oh, and almost got her down. I think that might have been, hey, Coach, you should have let me swing away at 3-0. Tried to tag Heather down on the third base line.
Gotta let her know.
Coach Tar laughing just a couple of seconds ago. See the smile still on her face. Klingler at first. Here's the 3-2 to Flores. And that one misses ball 4. Well, we have mentioned it a couple of times in case you missed it. Taryn Atlee getting the start at second today. Already proven to Coach Tar with her bat that she's worthy of the start, and now doing this.
I mean, that's what it is to have that kind of experience, too. One thing that you have to learn when you come in as a freshman or a first-timer in this conference is the speed of the game is a lot faster, and she knows that. She's lived it for the last few years, been a big part of this Washington lineup, and we're seeing that on display here today.
So Flores draws the walk. The junior Megan Vandegrift going to pinch run for her over at first. So Klingler down at second. Vandegrift is first and Samuel Reynolds batting. Reynolds' first pitch swinging into the glove of the shortstop Emily Young. Very close to turning her own double play. But Klingler able to get back, 1 out.
Emily Young trying to give them a taste of their own medicine there. Heads up, though. And she shaded a little bit towards the 5-6 hole. So no hesitation, just planning on that back leg to get that throw off. Good job getting back to second.
2 on, 1 out for Noelle He. Top of the 7th here at Stanford. He tops this one just behind second base. And Huff is there, 2 outs.
Yeah, it looked like they were going to call that an infield fly, regardless. Which is always interesting to me because, like, she was on the green, right, technically? But yes.
Where is the infield? Who makes the call on that one, Jenna?
Right. But it makes sense. It makes sense.
So nice job by Dwyer to bounce back from a couple of runners coming on, then 2 quick outs. Here's Kelly Lynch. Lynch with a sacrifice bunt. Her first at bat, hit by a pitch in her second, single to center her last time up. And then knock in a run or 2 this time. And there's strike 1.
Good idea. Can't be afraid to go inside to the righties. Sometimes when you have...
So far, a 4-hit shutout going for the senior Gabby Plain. Morgan Flores, her 6th-year catcher, taking care of business with her bats. Keegan Cowles picking up hit number 250. The 5th-year senior for Stanford. But now it's, can we get some runs across the plates here, or will Gabby Plain get 3 more outs and get Washington his Game 1 win? A true freshman out of Hart High School down in Southern California. Ali Kaneshiro to lead off the card. Takes ball 1.
That's a good take. A lot of spin on that pitch from Gabby Plain. It's a little bit up, slightly out of the zone, but sometimes those pitches just look so good.
Ali with an infield single, her first at bat, using the wheels to get down to first. Swings and misses, way late on that one, strike 1.
She goes up, she goes down. That's what makes Gabby Plain so good, just the mix, changing planes, changing speeds. It's just tough.
I think there's a lot of hitters who would attest to that. 1-1. In there, strike 2.
I asked Gabby Plain if she had any superstitions, and she said not really, which I was surprised by because a lot of pitchers are very superstitious.
Yeah.
She was like, yeah, I'll wear my braids if I can get in line to get them done.
Here's the 1-2, bounced in, ball 2. There's a line to get the braids done, huh?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. They all do each other's hair.
Okay.
She was like, but if not, you know, it's just a messy bun. It is what it is. I was like, oh, all right.
So it's working out.
Yeah.
3 outs away from a 32nd career shutout, so.
Yeah, if it ain't broke.
Don't braid it. Here's the 2-2. Strike 3 called. Gabby Plain continues to dominate. Strikeout number 8 for the senior Gabby Plain.
Mixed all around the plate. That one just over on the white part. Just that split seconds hesitation. You can't make up for it, especially with the movement that you're seeing from Plain.
2 outs away from the complete game shutout. Emily Young trying to prevent it. Young, first pitch, high into left field. Intense sun right now, but no problem for Sammy Reynolds. Out number 2. So 1 out away for Gabby Plain. All smiles. If she was down 4-0, if she's up 4-0, doesn't matter. It's the perfect demeanor for a pitcher.
It is. It's tough to be that way as a pitcher too. You know, you're the there's a circle around the pitcher for a reason. You're touching the ball every single pitch. It's centered around you.
Emily Schultz. It's ball 1. Dogs wanted that one. Felt them all kind of pause.
But Danielle Laurie has said it before that you have to be a little bit quirky or have a little bit of crazy to choose to be in that kind of position as a pitcher.
Danielle said that? No. Couldn't see Laurie saying that. Congrats to the UW alum, by the way, making the Canadian national team. So happy that softball's back in the Olympics and that stars who some might consider like up against it age-wise, still fighting for those positions. And that's why Heather Tarr said Plain is not necessarily a shoo-in to make the Australian team because they've got some Danielle Lauries of their own.
Yeah, people coming out of retirement to go for it again. See that with Team USA with Kat Oshman. She's coming back. Yep. Danielle Laurie, a mom of 2. She's coming back. Victoria Hayward, who announced Sis Bates getting drafted by AU. She's the captain of Team Canada, also going to Tokyo.
Just love it.
So much talent.
Never should have gone away. Glad that it's back. Here's the 3-0 to Emily Schultz. In there, strike 1. We got some Pac-12 alums playing for other countries too. I think Thule, Danielle O'Toole, she going to be pitching for Team Mexico maybe?
She is. Taylor McQuillan on Team Mexico.
Love it.
Sachel Palacios behind the plate, ASU alum.
Here's the 3-1. And there's strike 2. One strike away in her 32nd career shutout. The 3-2 pitch. And she got her swinging, strike 3. Another complete game shutout for the senior Gabby Plain as Washington takes the opener 4-0.
Gabby Plain, just unbelievable performance and very typical for her, but just that movement, untouchable. Stanford going to have